Welcome back. This is the Daily Thunder podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Woods. I'm here with Daily Thunder beat writer Brandon Rahbar. Brandon, what are we doing?
This was unreal. I don't know what to say. The Thunder, they didn't have a single starter starting. They started 3 second rounders and 2 undrafted players. They had a 9-man rotation, and none of these guys. I added up the numbers. The combined salary of every single player who played for the Thunder tonight made $24 million this year. Pascal Siakam, he makes $30.5 million this year. He makes $6.5 more million a year this year than the entire Thunder rotation tonight, and the Thunder win by double digits. I don't know what to say, Ryan. This was unreal.
This was in a season of costly wins. This one takes the cake as of right now. Toronto was the team right below them in the standings, and this was a game to even out their records, at least in the win column. And now Oklahoma City goes to 20-27. I just don't see the teams below them getting to that number, and I don't see the Thunder losing out from here on.
It hurts in two ways, Ryan, because like you said, the Raptors being the team right in front of them, it's a full 1-game swing, which is huge when the Thunder already had to make up some ground. Now they're 2.5 games away from them. And will they have the tiebreaker? I'm not sure. I haven't looked at it. Have they played them, or do they play them again? I can't even remember. You can edit this out.
The Raptors.
Yeah.
I believe they have. I believe they've already played in Toronto.
And Toronto won that one, right?
I will double check that now. I'll check that as you go. Go ahead.
Okay. Anyways, and I don't know what's happening with the tiebreaker situation, but this was a huge game. So not only is it bad for that standpoint that now they got to make up even more ground, but you might have just kind of pushed the Raptors over the edge to maybe they go full tank now. So now you got another team that's forget trying to make the play in. We're just going to tank the rest of the season. I mean, I don't know that that's going to happen. You still got Siakam, Van Vliet, you got OG, Kyle Lowry still there, and you got Nick Nurse, and they're only 2.5 games out of the play-in the East, so you'd think they'd still try, but I don't know.
You may have. I was looking it up while you were talking, so I may have missed if you mentioned Kyle Lowry. Oklahoma City has yet to play at Toronto. They go to Toronto on April 18th.
Okay, well, that will be a big game.
And you may have mentioned while I was looking, but they had announced Lowry will be out the next 7 to 10 days with that toe infection. So like you're saying, it hurts on a number of levels, but especially if Toronto decides to pack it in, they're a team you really, really, really needed to get in front of you.
Yes, absolutely. Because, I still believe the Wizards are gonna start winning because they have the easiest schedule in the league here on out. Russ is playing really well. Bradley Beal should be back next game, so they're going to start winning. But the Thunder are in 9th right now, and hopefully the Bulls will want to win. I mean, they do want to win. They just traded for Nikola, so they're going to want to win. But I don't know, man. The odds of getting a top 4 pick are just lower by every single team that's in front of them. It hurts the odds that much more. So you want to get in front of some of these teams, and picking up these wins is costly, and they're not going to make the playoffs. So
correct.
But then I don't know what else Presti can do, quite honestly.
I tweeted, I believe it was about 8 or 9 minutes left in the game, that I need a Sam Presti cam. I just there can't be anything left hanging on his walls. Like, everything's been taken down and thrown. I want to say poor guy, but you traded Diallo for the guy that that killed Toronto tonight. They
Yep.
he he led the team with 22 points and added 9 rebounds, shot 4 of 8 from 3, and went on an 8-0 personal run in the fourth quarter. Like I don't know what else he can do, but also like maybe just do everything you can. Like Josh, like close the game with Josh Hall, close the game with like Justin Jackson, like whatever you have to do to keep like whoever is like take a look at the box score. Who has a minus next to their net rating? Play them to close the game. Can we play? Will they let us play 4-on-5 to close the game? Can we get away with like the no scoring offense? Can we just turn it over every time? Like whatever they have to do. This is such an important game, and now they're sitting at 20 wins, and I don't see how anyone below them gets to 20 wins.
And the Thunder have a hard remaining schedule. It's going to be, I'm sorry, the Thunder have a lot of teams that are below or ahead, however you want to say it. They got to play the Pistons. They got to play the Timberwolves. They got to play, all these teams.
The Kings.
The Kings. Now, the Kings are thankfully trying to win, so that's good.
Right.
But they're going to be playing still a lot of teams that are also trying to lose. So they may pick up, some more wins that they don't want to pick up. And, we should side note here. Very, very impressive what Mark Daigneault is doing and what this Thunder team, this ragtag group of undrafted second round, journeyman players, they play with so much effort. They play such smart team basketball. They share the ball and they do all the right things. And the effort every single night is there. So it's very impressive and they're a joy to watch. So that said, the reason we're going on about this, because this upcoming draft is so important for the Thunder's future. It's a loaded draft. The Thunder don't plan on rebuilding for too long because you have Shea, so they need top tier talent in this one. And because the Rockets are tanking and out tanking the Thunder, you can't rely necessarily on their pick. So you really need to rely on your own pick. And right now they've got the 9th best odds. So you may not get a top tier talent. It is kind of a crushing type of win when you look at it that way. And again, don't mean to be Debbie Downer after win. It is very impressive, but it does hurt the long-term future of this Thunder team if they can't make up some ground and try to get into the top 5 or the bottom 5.
And I don't want to sound like I'm blaming this on Sam Presti. I don't mean that. Kind of being obnoxious when I say like play 4-on-5, but like this was far more on Toronto than it was on Oklahoma City. They take some horrific shots and they turn the ball over and they don't rotate on defense. They do all of the things that you have to do to lose to a team like this. And to get 31 from Gary Trent Jr. in his, I think this is his 3rd game with the Raptors. Like they got nothing from Baines, they got nothing from Rodney Hood, and he only played 5 minutes. Like it's just they're rolling out Stanley Johnson, Malachi Flynn. Like the Lowry injury obviously hurts them, but like Siakam scoring 14 points in 37 minutes, him only taking 9 shots. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's absolutely nuts. And look, the one thing the Thunder won't do, because yes, they are resting their main guys, either that or they've got injuries and they're being very cautious with them and all those things, and they trade away guys to try to get a top pick. The one thing they're not going to do, Ryan, and this is what differentiates them from other teams, they're not going to go into the fourth quarter of a close game and be like, okay, we're just going to play Josh Hall and Justin Jackson. Once the ball is tipped, Mark Daigneault is coaching to win and the players are playing to win. And, it's admirable. It really is. And the Thunder will refuse to, kind of tip that moral ground. Other teams do it, though. Other teams that are tanking will do that. They don't care. But the Thunder won't do it. And again, on one end, I salute them for that. And I think it's very, very admirable. On the other end, you're like, man, it'd be better if you just play Josh Hall and Justin Jackson and Tony Bradley instead of Moses. I mean, it's unreal. It's
These
unreal.
we're talking about the difference in like the 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 possible talent difference between who they are going to pick and who they could potentially pick is enough to keep you awake at night. It really
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
And to think about like I know this is splitting hairs, but that was an egregious missed goaltend call at a
Yep.
very crucial point in the game. I
Yep.
believe it was a 4-point game, and I could be wrong. It could have been a 2-point game, but either way, Van Vliet puts the ball up on the glass, and Svi clearly blocks it. Like it was clear in real time, but it was like completely obvious on the replay. All they have to do is call it a goaltend. They can go look at it. They don't call
Yep.
anything, and that turns into an and one for Teo. One of his one of his 3 made shots of the night. He went 3 of 16, so love that. Turns into a 3-point play. So it went. I believe it went from what would have been a 2-point game to a 7-point game, and that was inside of I think 2 or 2.5 minutes, something like that.
Yep.
A crucial swing in that game that they just completely missed.
It was huge. That was a huge miss. It was so blatant. If this was a game in the past that we wanted to win, they would have called it the other way. You know what I'm saying? We've seen so many bad calls go against the Thunder when we wanted to win, whether it be Giannis stepping on the baseline or
that's the one that came to my mind as soon as you said that.
Yeah. There's so many though, so it's funny that's what came to your mind. LeBron fouling KD in the game 2 of the finals. I mean, there's so many. You can just go through history. And then when the Thunder, so far this season, the only season where they've wanted to lose, the most important game thus far for them to lose, they don't call a crucial call to help the Thunder lose. It's unreal.
Because it's such a fun exercise, I'd like to add one to the pot. Game 6, 2014 Western Conference Finals, Derek Fisher, they ran Ginobili up. I think Oklahoma City was up 2. They ran Ginobili up like a zipper screen, and Duncan just took a huge right step into Derek Fisher. Like it was as moving a screen as I've ever seen. And they didn't call it. Ginobili buries the 3 to go up 1. I think that was the game where the Spurs closed Oklahoma City out at home or in Oklahoma City in 6.
Of course.
That one sticks with me too. That was a really, really bad no call.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't remember that one, but it rings a bell. It sounds like something I would have been really mad at the time. I know if I were to go back to 2014 me, I'm sure I would be really ticked, and I would be yelling at 2021 me saying, "How could you forget that call?"
Yeah. Yes, it's a bad one, like a huge right leg from Duncan, like a good 3 feet to the right, and just nails Derek Fisher. And he sold it too. Like he threw the head back. He went flying.
Yeah. I just don't know what to say as far as what the Thunder can do. They're going to lose to the really good teams, but there's going to be a lot of these teams like the Raptors that the Thunder just, they out hustle, they out effort, they play smart basketball, and all these things are great. We've talked about it before though. When it's guys like Justin Jackson contributing to the win, like, man, he's not going to be around for the rebuild. Darius Miller contributed in a big positive way. Yeah. He's not going to be around for the rebuild. Now, Svi, I was high on Svi, and he's looking really, really good. I think the Thunder will give him a contract next season. I really like that trade. But, man,
love him.
Like you implied earlier, though, I think – the thought was, hey, we get a second-round pick, we get a guy in Svi that we like, and hey, maybe we get a little bit worse. Maybe we lose 1 or 2 more games here or there because Diallo's been so good this year. And then Svi comes in, and he's the reason that the Thunder win, the biggest game so far.
It's unbelievable. And you know who Oklahoma City could have used like 2 years ago? That guy.
Yep.
They could have really, really used a guy like that. Like if it took took trading everyone away to reset the kind of players they want, it's a real shame because like guys who can just like Darius Miller
Yep.
was a guy that
Yep.
was incredibly gettable at all times through the last like 6 7 years 6 7 years.
This team is full from like 1 to 15.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, take away Shea because he's a star. Everybody else, from Lou Dort to Darius Miller to Kenrich Williams
Mm-hmm.
to Svi to Ty Jerome,
Mm-hmm.
all these guys would have helped OKC so much. So many role players that would have helped when the Thunder wanted to compete. And, they had top tier talent like Russell Westbrook and Paul George. Let's talk about those teams. Obviously, they would have helped the KD teams in a big way. But even those PG Russ teams, they needed guys like this to fill in the gaps because, they were just the guys that were contributing from the bench were pretty bad. And now there's nobody bad. Like all these.
The wing options like for the Mello team were like Dre gets hurt. Josh Hustis no longer in the league. Terrence Ferguson no longer on a team. Like they were strapped for wings and now they can't find one that doesn't produce.
Yeah, it's really, really crazy to see kind of so many other sides of the coin this season.
Yeah.
There was all those seasons where people said that the Thunder were underperforming and not meeting expectations when they wanted to contend and wanted to compete. And now these last 2 seasons, the Thunder, we're trying to rebuild and they're exceeding expectations and getting all these wins that they're not supposed to get. And, they didn't have role players before. They had top tier talent. Now they don't have the top tier talent, but they had all these role players. They didn't have shooting before. Now they have all this shooting. They were, I mean, it's just so funny. But to me, it's promising though. And everybody was upset with the coaching before with it, Brooks and Donovan. And now everybody loves Dagnall. Again, it's funny. He may be the first coach to win Coach of the Year with a team that's supposed to be tanking.
And we'll see we'll see how long his leash is, whenever the expectations change for Dagnall and his staff. Like we'll see what happens. I'm very excited for that because I do think he's that guy. I think he's phenomenal. Everything that he runs and every game watching the guys, the way that they play, the way the bench responds. I think it was Justin Jackson got a steal and a breakaway, threw up a runner in the first half, missed it, got his own rebound, and gets the putback. Pretty standard, mundane play. And the bench looked like he had just hit a game winner. The bench was like
right.
up, dancing. I mean, it's a total vibe on Oklahoma City's bench at all times. And that is a reflection of the coach to some degree. Like they all seem to love him. It could be just a reflection on Shea, but I do think it is a reflection on this coach and the environment that his style of leadership breeds. It's a very fun team, youthful team. They have a lot of potential and promise, which I would assume plays into all of that. But it's an easy team to watch. It's a fun team to watch, and all of that leads to quality production night to night.
I do think that all the things that he's kind of putting in place now, this culture, the play style, all these things, the ball sharing, the movement, the shooting, and the habits that they're picking up, these are all positives. And the winning, it's a positive. Exceeding expectations, being competitive even in losses, these are all positives for the future. These are all going to help, when Shea, Dort, and these guys are, competing for something and they're in the playoffs again. And it's exciting to think about what this team, let's say Shea's in his prime and the Thunder draft another guy that's a stud, and then they go out and sign a guy because they have a bunch of cap space. Think of adding 2 other stars to this team and what they could actually do. And that's why, we keep harping on wanting a top 5 pick, because those 5 guys are all blue chip, franchise changing type of guys. You put a guy like that next to Shea, he's on a rookie contract, Shea's on a max. You have all this room money wise to go out and get a couple more guys, and all of a sudden the rebuild is over a lot quicker than you planned. But it's got to start with getting another blue chip guy to go next to Shea. And if that doesn't happen this off season, then I don't want to say it's a wasted season, because I think there's a lot of good that's come out of the season, from Shea's leap to all the culture setting things we've talked about, and some of these young guys stepping up. But you really need to add a blue chip guy this offseason in the draft.
So, question of the night for you. I'll put the over under at 8 years. 8 years before we see Oklahoma City pay a center $25 million a year.
Oh, wow. I don't think they will anytime soon. I think that the way the NBA is going, and, unless the Thunder draft like an Evan Mobley, and that very well.
He's the only caveat, right? Like he's the only reason I would say under, is if they somehow take him and he's, even he blossoms into even more than what we think he might be.
Right. Because other than that, I mean, there's so many centers who are solid nowadays that can, play well for you. And it's such a wing dominated and guard dominated league now, that, teams are going to start spending less and less on that, unless you get a Joel Embiid or a Jokic or one of those guys. So, I mean, if the Thunder get one of those guys, and the only guy that fits that mold this rookie class is Evan Mobley, but who knows what's going to happen in the next couple. I don't see it happening with a free agent or, trading for a guy like that. So it has to be a rookie, and then it had to be their second contract. So it has to be soon. So, yeah, I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon.
That's another thing I just philosophically I hope that they have completely pivoted from, because they have now gone through 3 starting centers in Roby, Horford, and now Moses Brown that like come in and provide great things. And like Roby and Moses Brown's contracts combine to like what, 12 times less than Steven Adams.
Yeah. And every Thunder fan loves Steven Adams, and for good reason. But
no doubt.
when you look at value, what Moses Brown is making compared to what Steven Adams is making, and then you could give another $25 million to a wing. I mean, I'd take Moses Brown and the $25 million wing over just Steven Adams any day. Love you, Big Kiwi, but that's an easy choice.
And I think a contract like that, I think played somewhat of a role in not being able to make those little moves on the margins that could have made a huge difference. So I just think I think long term, I think they're going to allocate funds to those wing and guard positions, like you're saying. And honestly, they've got that two guard spot, or wherever they would like to play Lou Dort, locked up at such a friendly number going forward. And Shea's still on his rookie deal for now. So like they're in such a good spot, which makes it all the more exciting. You know what I was thinking? The loss stinks for odds sake, but I feel like we're gonna look back and be like, of course Presti had that move in mind. Of course he was gonna move up. Like, duh. Like, I feel like we're gonna look back and be like, why did we even stress over a couple of those losses? Like, he has a billion bullets to use to move up. Like, he's going to take. I think there is a world in which Sam Presti knows, outside of Cade, like unless we just move up to 1, I don't think we're getting Cade. But other than Cade, I think I have the ammunition to draft whoever I would like.
Right, I agree with that. The problem is you'd like to hold on to that draft capital if you could. Like, it'd be so much nicer to get a top 5 guy just because you were able to explore the roster enough to get a top 5 guy,
No doubt.
rather than giving up ammunition that can be used for other things later. So
No
yes, the
doubt.
the ammunition is there, but man, you really had to use it if you don't have to, or you'd rather be at number 6 or number 7 and only have to use 1 or 2 draft picks to move up to 3 or 4,
Right.
rather than being at number 10 and
Right.
having to use half your Paul George trade to move up to what I mean, like
No,
that's
I totally agree, and you're absolutely right. Like it's a bummer to have to use really anything with the roster they had going into the season. It would be a bummer and a failure in certain way in certain aspects. But like I was just thinking, like if he's always multiple steps ahead, which makes me think like it's probably just going to work out that he gets to pick whoever he wants, aside from Kate.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, the problem is, and I agree, Ryan. I think that the Thunder have more ammunition than any team in the league, and they can get anybody they want. Problem is, everybody knows. I mean, every podcaster, every NBA watcher, and certainly every NBA GM knows that the top 5 of this draft are all in their own league. So the price will be heavy to
Mm-hmm.
move up to get one of those guys. So it's gonna be rough to do it. The Thunder can do it if they want, but it'll be tough. Now I will say this. One thing that nobody really talks about is, yes, the top 5 are in a league of their own. They're supposed to be can't miss, all those things. Even can't miss guys are misses sometimes. And there's always guys in that 6 to 12 area, a couple of guys that end up being absolute studs that you're like, how did they not go top 3? You know,
Mm-hmm.
the problem is, the odds of finding those guys are lower. It's riskier and all those things. But could a Kispert end up being a guy? Could a Bo Knight, or how do you pronounce it? I think it's
Book
Bo
night.
Knight.
Book night.
Yeah, yeah. Could he end up being a guy that you're like, oh man, he should have been a top 5 guy instead of Jalen Green or Jalen Suggs? Possibly, and maybe the Thunder will hit on one of those guys, and it'll be all okay, and we'll look back really embarrassed that we spent hours and hours and hours of our 2021 season, bemoaning losses or bemoaning wins, losses, because of that.
I wonder if Presti just needs to find the GM that's in the top 5 that has no Wi-Fi connection and no league pass account. Like and no cable and no Wi-Fi connection. Like that guy. The guy that's really unaware of how good these top 5 guys are. Let's trade with him. Like, hey, we have all these picks. So whoever that guy is, we'll get on the phone with them. So Oklahoma City is back at it on Friday. They are at Phoenix. That's a late one. That's a 9 p.m. start Central Time. So we'll obviously be back to talk after that one. And we get to see old mate Chris Paul. He was they're playing the Bulls right now, actually. And I was watching, they were coming out of a timeout, and he walked over and had a nice little moment with Billy Donovan. It was such a wholesome moment. As a Thunder fan, I was like, "Hey,
Nice.
look at those guys! Look at them!"
Nice.
It was a Paul Rudd look at us moment. Look at us. But yeah, that was fun to see. So we'll see Chris Paul on Friday night, and we'll see if maybe we'll see. I know you said Dort won't clear concussion protocol until May 15th. We will
Yeah.
see if that holds up. But so we'll see who plays. Maybe Svi got knocked in the head on the way back to the locker room after the game tonight, and we'll have to enter protocol as well. Poku was out tonight for health and safety protocols. Do we think he was the lone person in the league to test positive?
I don't know. That's possible. I mean, obviously, it could also just be contact tracing, that whole thing. He could have been
Yeah.
around somebody.
Yeah.
I hate to be that guy, but you got to wonder how things would have been if Poku wasn't in health and safety protocol tonight. I love Poku and his future.
Shout out Poku.
But man, he could have maybe helped the Thunder in a different way tonight.
Yeah. Yeah. You're exactly right.
Imagine half of those Svi shots going to Poku.
I know. And God, Spee's another guy on this team that like he's one of the guys that every time the shot goes up, I think it's in.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Every
Look,
single time.
when the trade happened, I said, look, this guy's good. Detroit is just so bad this year. Look at his numbers last year. He shot over 40% easily. He averaged 9 points a game. This guy's a good player. The Pistons are just so bad this year. It's hard to judge anybody, and they didn't have any playmakers. But that dude can play.
Oh yeah.
I think that he'll be around the Thunder for a long haul. He'll get a contract with the Thunder next season. I'm excited to see guys like that and Kenrich Williams. The Thunder have so many perfect glue guys, role players already set, and they've got a star in Shea. They just need to add a couple more young stars to go along with Shea, and the rebuild is in the books.
And I would say the games that they're going to be competitive in are the games where they shoot it well from the 3-point line. That was such a huge factor tonight. They shot 42.5%. They were 14 of 33. And what was their last? I'm blanking on the games all run together, but their last one they shot it really well from three in that game too. So that's definitely if you're wanting to find where the Thunder are winning these games from, it's the 3-point line, and guys like Svi and Kenrich just lighting it up. They're both shooting it over 40%. I think Kenrich Williams is up to 44%.
Yeah,
I'm gonna look that up now because I don't want to be wrong about that.
Well, and I think that everybody thought with Kenrich Williams, because his nickname is Kenny Hustle, and that's just kind of what he was known for, was his effort and energy. They thought that's all he was. The dude shot 37% when he was at TCU. He's a good shooter, and I think people just assumed that he was one of those kind of like lunch pail, roll on the floor guys, so he couldn't shoot. But he's got such a good all around game, and he's on such a good contract.
Yep, he went 2 of 2 tonight. We call that perfect, and he's up to 45% on the season.
That's unreal. He's shooting better than Steph Curry is. The thing with this Thunder team, they've got so many shooters now. They've flipped the script. It's not a bunch of long defensive guys who can't shoot. Everybody on this team can shoot now, and when you have guys that play with effort and they play really smart ball with few mistakes, and they can all shoot, you're going to have nights where they pick up wins that you think they have no business winning, even without the top tier talent.
Yeah, they got another 3 of 5 night from Darius Miller. 4 of 8 from Svi, 1 of 2 from Roby, 2 of 6 from Justin Jackson. Pretty crazy. And we should mention we saw Tony Bradley tonight.
Yeah, and Tony Bradley was nice. He was again, nice little piece. The Thunder just keep adding all these nice little pieces. Will they all be around for the rebuild? No, but they could make some nice sweeteners and trade packages, and the Thunder are going to make a lot of trades over the next few years. And then some of the guys will stick as well. So many options for the Thunder, and every guy that they get that's young and can play and can be a rotation piece, whether it be for the Thunder or someone else, is an asset.
Yeah, for sure. And Josh Hall, shout out Josh Hall, 5 points, 5 boards, 4 assists, game high plus 17 in the plus minus.
So I guess maybe that's why he didn't finish the game.
I retract my remarks. They closed with the right unit. So Oklahoma City's back at it Friday. We will wrap it there, and we'll talk to you again on Friday. Brandon, this was a tough one. We had we were talking before we came on that we were going to have a lot to say. I feel like we kept it somewhat concise and not too long. So good job by us. We'll talk to you again on Friday, man. Thanks.
Have a good night, bud.
All right. Thunder fans, thanks so much for listening. This is the Daily Thunder Podcast.